How's everyone doing on this Sunday? It is Sunday. You know the deal. Hopefully, you have already spent time with God. If not, you still have time online. Watch it online. We went into church again today, and it's another great message. We're on a series right now called I Believe, and I get something out of it every time. It's a very good church. The pastor's good, and I think all pastors kind of try to relate everyday life to their current message of the week or the month. And this one is, again, I believe. And the message is, I think I told y'all last week, how would you explain Jesus to someone that didn't know? How would you explain it? Tell them your story, whatever. Just makes you think on how, because you listen to it, you watch the pastor, but how would you describe Jesus to someone else? And that's the series that we're on right now. So good evening, everybody. I see Jake is here. Menachem finally on time. That's all right. What number of burpee are you on? Really more important. Carl Green, 5x5. All right, got some coffee, got some hydration. We're ready to go. We didn't go. Did we go Wednesday? We did. Is this a Sunday to Sunday? And every other Wednesday, still discussing that. Take a little roll call. Ray's here in formation. Bryce Wilborg. Jordan Hammond. Hey, I'm so happy to be a part of your community. Thank you for always being someone who motivates me. Always a pleasure, Jordan. Appreciate that. Appreciate you saying it every time. David Bryan got some coffee. JTB at 1046. All right. So that's a good one. TN. I'm still alive after everything I've experienced. That's how I describe him. That's good. I like that. Amen to that. Yes, it is Sunday. A couple cool topics I want to talk about tonight. Weapons handling. I don't know what made me think of this, but at one point, I'm guessing 2000, I don't know when they changed it from accidental discharge to negligent discharge. Remember that? The NDs. NDs. So much they were NJPing people for NDs. Negligent discharge. It's not an accident. Is it really an accident? If you were paying attention to the 4 safety rules that you learned on the range for the very first time in boot camp, and the rules that don't change. And the biggest one is keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you are ready to fire. So if you keep that one rule in mind, of course, all of them don't point at anything you don't want to shoot, but keeping your finger straight and off the trigger is huge. And it's something that the movies and the shows, and they destroy that. Do you see anybody walking around on all those action movies and cop shows? They already have their finger on the trigger. That's you just waiting for an accident to happen. So they teach it. They teach it in boot camp. I'm sure all the services. Do they teach rifle handling? I know they do to Army. They qualify. Does the Navy and Air Force, Coast Guard, do they train with weapons in boot camp? Not too sure. But we're going to talk about that NDs. And the snap-in barrel. How about the snap-in barrel when you got in a complete 360 and you're aiming at a barrel in the center right at somebody straight across from you, when one of the rules is never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. So funny, but it is I'm a firm believer of the snap and barrel. I really am. Hated it in boot camp, but I think it's a good thing. There's always negligence. Many things need to go wrong for a weapon to fire. And that's why they changed it from accidental discharge to negligent discharge, because a weapon will not fire on its own. No accident. You, the shooter, the dope behind the dope, had to have something to do with that rifle going off. So yes, negligent. All right. I think the snap and barrel, huge benefit. There's even a snap and wall, and I learned this later on for the pistol. Somebody just with the magic marker Sharpie drew a dot on the wall, and you practice the same way with your pistol. That helped out a lot from 3, 5, 7, 25 meters. That helped out a lot. I liked it. It worked. Heavy J, 5 minutes late. Start Iron Mike's Still Lima Charlie. Roger, good to see you, Heavy J. Indeed, Snap and Barrel. Here's a quote, switching gears on you. Here's a quote that in a gym that I work out in quite a bit, I used to write quotes every day. And some I would remember from over the years, but I just look them up. Motivational coach quotes, gym quotes for men, inspirational gym quotes, teamwork, just all kinds of different. Look it up. Everything's on the internet. One that stuck out, and actually somebody sent it to me to put up on the wall in the gym, was champions don't always win, champions never quit. And I like that. Something struck home about it. Champions don't always win, because you personally can be a champion at what you do, but if you're on a team and the team doesn't, you don't always win. Champions just never quit. And we'll talk about that as it relates to PT, combat, the civilian workforce. That's where it gets pretty interesting.
Ray just did 10 memberships.
Ray just did 10 memberships. Thank you, Ray. God bless you, brother. Well, thank you at 1775 Marine Corps. That's Big Ray from Queens. Thank you, brother. Again, memberships. You see on there the green names. Those are members, $1.99 a month. And it's right on the description page. So check it out. Members. Sweat is just weakness leaving the body. I'm telling you, there's thousands. I like that one too, Heavy J. There are so many different quotes. And I think I have a top 10. I'm pretty sure I do. And I keep them in my phone. I rewrite them a couple times. But that one stuck out to me. Champions don't always win. Champions never quit. We'll talk about that. How it relates to kind of life in general, not just on the combat field. And then buddy checks. We haven't talked about buddy checks for a while. Hopefully you're still doing them frequently, not just a text. Pick up a phone every now and then. If you're in a distance to visit, by all means, do that as much as possible. And then with that, we're going to discuss the motivational transition that happens when you do transition out, either after 4 years or a career. What level of motivation do you still have for the Corps? Is it different for a 4-year Marine than it is for a 30-year Marine? And here's why I bring it up. You see the moto vehicles, you see the moto trucks, and with the stickers and the flags and the license plate numbers, some kind of moto license plate frame. Again, all those bumpers and bumper stickers, T-shirts that you wear, the hats and the jackets and all the memorabilia, the swag, if you will, that you wear. I've noticed that I wear now that I'm not active duty anymore. And I don't really remember, did it happen immediately? Because I went right from active duty to JRTC, so still wearing the uniform, still moto, but now you're wearing civilian clothes a lot more often. And if you move to a business where you wear a suit every day, not optional, but I guarantee you probably have something moto on your desk, something moto in your car. I believe half of my T-shirts are SFMF, of course, but then the other ones are Marine Corps Patriotic era type shirts. Why don't more Marines do it while they're on active duty, or do they? All right, that's my transition question. Does it hit you more once you're not wearing the uniform every day? Carl Green just did 10 memberships. All right. We want all green. Everybody in the chat. We want everyone's name green. That just means they're a member. And remember, the different colors of the stars depends on how many months that you've been a member. USMC Vet says, do you have to gift or buy memberships? Do you need like Google Pay? How do you pay for them? Somebody help her out. Do you know how it happens? How do you gift them? Can someone give us a little Reader's Digest tutorial? Oh, right there, Malakam already did. They don't have to when they're active. Oh, you're talking about the moto gear. They don't have to when they're active duty. You have the uniform and the title. I think that has a lot to do with it, Malakam. That's why I was in a weird transition period, because I went straight from active duty to JRTC, where I was still wearing the uniform, PTing, drilling and shooting, yelling at people. All that, it didn't really change right away. So I'm wondering when I start purchasing nothing but got on Sergeant Grit and those moto channels and just started buying stuff. My truck has a couple things on it. All right, Carl Green says you can use Google Pay. Thanks, Carl. Arturo has an AR-15. In the future, it's going to be hard to clean it. Is it going to be hard to clean it on the inside? No, Arturo, there's cleaning gear. Same place you got your AR-15. What's the big outdoor store? What is that big one I'm talking about?
Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop. Just buy your cleaning gear kit. That's what I did. I still had some left over from the Marine Corps things, but no, just clean it just like you learned in boot camp. Gear's a little different, a little custom, but definitely. Which one? Bass Pro, yes, Menachem Bass Pro. Hot Rod checking in. What up, Hot Rod? Good to see you, brother. There's another one I passed that I wanted to read it. Victoria says, "Where are you from?" I was born in MCRD, San Diego. Or Parris Island. Where's my Parris Island at? Anyone? I'm looking around. Can you see? Huh? Nothing. I'm good. What's on the agenda for tonight? All right, Menachem, were you on time? Because I just covered the 4. We're going to talk about the indies a little more in detail. I got a funny story. Funny, not funny. Snapping Barrels Champions, the motivational quote to help keep you going, right? To give you over that little edge on whatever you're doing. Buddy checks and memberships. We already hit on it because the generosity of you guys are already hooking up. Look at all the green up there. Carrie Ann Marie Potts, you made it. I guess hope you're doing well. No ketchup for you later. Lay Cookie. Where's Lay Cookie? I didn't see him. Double tap the screen. Carrie Ann Marie Potts. If nobody has said anything, there it is. Lay Cookie. No one has said anything yet about the Eagle Globe and Anchor over my shoulder. It looks good right now in the light. Lay Cookie, don't. Next time you see me, don't whoop my butt. There's no spotlight on it yet. It's still light outside, so it looks good. And I didn't. Clearly, I just replaced it with the flag. So we still haven't found that solid place that we want both of them. I want them both in the camera, of course. So we might have to do some adjusting to get them both in there. But I couldn't take it anymore. I had to put it up. Just want to see it. Looked at it every time I walked by this desk right here. So not its final resting place. It's going to be somewhere cool, both of them together. All right. Thanks, Carrie Ann. She said it looks good up there. Dot copy. Need to make a bigger one. Yeah. It does look kind of small now in the screen. Walking by it when I was putting it up, it didn't look that small. Maybe because that flag was bigger, but yeah, a little bit bigger one would probably be Moto 2. Fast, cheap, and easy, Sergeant Major. Click the arrow on the right side. It'll show you if you want to gift it, super chat, or sticker. All right, everyone hear that? Check Heavy J's comment right there. Thanks, Heavy J. Fast, cheap, and easy way. Click the arrow on the right side. It'll show you if you want to gift or I missed the rest of it. Awesome. Ray, what'd you buy? You bought an E-Globe and Anchor? Is that what you're talking about? You bought one? Want both in the screen, you need to downsize. Yes, maybe my head's a little too big to have all 3 of us in there, the flag, the E-Globe and Anchor, and my head. Doc Holiday, what's up, Doc? Good to see you. What's up, SFMF family? God bless you all, and God bless you as well, Doc, on this Sunday. Good to see you. Appreciate you always. Huge supporter. Ray, you went online, ancmetalworks.com. You mentioned SFMF, I hope, because he'll give you a discount if you mention SFMF. You're part of the community. You will get 10% off that awesome piece back there. And if you remember from all the other lives, the American flag, which next time we're live, you're going to see both at one time. I'm on it. All right. Is Sergeant Cece on here? Oh, she is. USMC Cece. All right. How about the other Cece's? Do we put the message out? Where's the rest of them? How's this week been? Still blessed. Thank you very much. God bless. The Psycho, were you in the military? I wasn't in the military. I'm a Marine. All right. Yes, most everybody on the channel, if you're new here, Psycho, hang out, check us out. This is a great place to be. Some nothing but pure motivation going back and forth. So appreciate you being here. Like and subscribe. Weekend is great. Killing it with the morning hike. Doc, you going on hikes? We hooked Ray up and it'll ship out this week. Awesome, Ray. But look at, can't wait. Can't let us know as soon as you get it, Ray. That's awesome. Which one? Wait, CC is the real last name? Yes, USMC vet. You notice all the CCs on there? Strike. Yes. What's in a photo frame pic? Could always take it down for the flag as long as it's not a family pic. Sorry, Miss CC. It's not. It's a moto poster. That one is the Free a Man to Fight. I think that's the one that's up there. Be a Marine, free a Marine to fight. No, that one's just a moto poster. So it definitely can move. Right? We won't get rid of it because it's a ref for the household. But that's what I was thinking too. One on each side. I thought both on one side so you can see it. But looking at the screen, yeah, we could adjust a little bit here and there and get both them babies in there. Done deal. And that's a brick wall back there, by the way. So it takes a little bit of work putting it up. I think I can handle it. Need to get some CBs in here. I thought secret NSA 0200 MOS code name. CC. All right. I was thinking you put it right over the EJ. I think so too. That's why I want to look at that. Again, it's a brick wall, so it can't be experimenting all over, but I think they would look good one above the other. Or, all right, maybe one on each side. We'll get to it. I mean, somebody just a nasty, dirty civilian that speaks military jargon. Heavy J. All right. All right. So, we take it away, or I meant the earpiece out of your ear. All right. So, weapons handling. I'm going to tell you a quick story about it because it was near and dear to my heart because we so many deployments, so many training operations. To your average, probably everyday Marine that doesn't handle their weapon every single day, it probably seems like, well, no kidding, you should be busted for that. How hard is it to keep your finger off the trigger? So factual, right? Because I've never had an ND. I've never had an accidental or negligent discharge. So it clearly can happen where it never happens. But you hear about it, accidental discharge, negligent discharge, someone gets hurt or even killed. Highly important. And it is situational awareness. You have to know where your muzzle is at all times. Make sure you're not flagging anybody, pointing at anybody. Fingers never in the trigger until those occasions occur, till you're ready to fire, till you are going to shoot whatever's in front of you. So your fingers should never be in the trigger well. And it's such a habit now, and I think it probably is for all Marines. As soon as you pick up a rifle, clearly you have a straight finger, right? Even if you're just looking at it, loading it, taking it apart to clean it, whatever you're doing, it's such a habit now, and it's a great habit. That's how it needs to be, so you don't have an ND. And I've been out for a little while, so I don't know if they're still happening as much, but it seemed like the heat of the war, when we were deploying back to back to back to back, we had some. We had a few. And one of the patrols we went on, I was with Jump, and Jump was a good crew, and patrolling, went to our company patrol bases, making some supply runs and whatever, just checking out the battlefield. So that's a 2-3 day evolution on the road, sleeping wherever we can, when we can, eating same, when and where we possibly can. And at the end of it, and I know I jinxed it because as we rolled back into our base camp, safe and sound, brought everybody back. I didn't say it out loud, but I thought it. Man, 3 days, not a single ND anywhere in the AO. Just then, the driver of one of the Cougars, the huge, tall, new trucks that replaced all the Humvees, right? You see them on TV and stuff. I think it was a Cougar. I don't remember the name of all of them, but it was one of them souped up Humvees way up in the air. And as we pulled in, got a head count, they closed the gate. Everyone's getting out of the vehicles. The driver of our lead vehicle jumps out, lands wrong, lands funny. It's a probably 2, 3, 4 foot drop. Landed wrong, finger in the trigger, boom. Luckily, his muzzle was in the dirt because he was kind of falling. ND, our senior guy in the jump. Good thing Big O is not on here. We have some history with that Marine. Good Marine most of the time. But as an ND, corporal, getting ready to get promoted to sergeant, the policy for NDs throughout the AO was automatic NJP. So in a roundabout way, he was held accountable 100%. His sergeant warrant was held. So he had NJP, but there's no punishment. The punishment was to hold the sergeant promotion warrant till he proved himself that he's good to go. And he did. The point is, one of the best guys on the jump, it could happen to the best Marine, the best rifleman, if you're not paying attention to detail. It's not an accident. It's a negligent discharge. You hear things, I don't know how, it just went off. No, my finger wasn't in the trigger. Something was in the trigger well, because a rifle cannot fire unless the trigger is pulled. So because everyone would fight it, I don't know what happened. Something's wrong with my rifle. They won't fire without pulling the trigger. Few things have to happen. Somebody already said it. Few things have to happen for that rifle to fire. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. But like a muzzle in the dirt, another problem. But it was great timing for this one. The one and only time that we were happy that the muzzle was in the dirt, because he shot around. All right. Notice every time I grab a drill or a spray bottle, I see the straight finger. Pretty crazy, Heavy J. That's the facts. Anytime, I'm telling you, a squirt gun, right? If we're playing and it's something, it's just so habit and a great habit to be into. So treat it that way. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Drill rifles, they're demilitarized. They can't fire, right? And they demilitarize them one way or the other. They fill the barrel up. There's no bolt. They take out the firing pin. They do something to that rifle where no way possible it could fire a round, or you could even put a round in it. Still, treat it as if it were a loaded weapon. It's a good habit to get into. No accidents. So, I don't remember what it was on. I happened to flip through it as a short where a rapper was being interviewed and he adjusted. He had his pistol during the interview. Why would he take it to an interview? Boom, shot himself in the leg because it was locked, loaded. He went to move it over his sweats that he was wearing, pulled the trigger. No accident. That was negligent. He's all right. He didn't die or anything. So it was kind of funny that he'd be that ignorant to do something like that. But if you put yourself in that position, that predicament, something bad's going to happen. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Everyone listen to Carrie Ann Marie Potts right now. Double tap the screen. And Doc nails it right there. The deadliest weapon in the world is a Marine and his rifle. You know that joke about the enemy, and I'm not going to mess it up. I'm just not going to probably tell it as cool as the original was, but big battle somewhere. Both enemy and both parties showed up in the field. Open field, big hill in between. All of a sudden, they see a Marine on top of the hill shooting down at everybody. The enemy says, all right, go. You two go up there and take care of that guy. So they run up the hill, boom, boom, boom. Those guys instantly die. The Marine disappears. He says, what the heck? All right, give me a whole squad. Send a whole squad up there, a whole squad of enemy. comes up on top of the hill, boom, 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 boom. They all die. So it's enemy generals obviously clearly upset, sends a company size. Whole company charges up the hill, boom, 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 boom. Have them retreat. The one that made it back to the general, he said, General, don't, it's a trap. It's a trap. Don't send any more bodies up there. It's a trap. There's 2 Marines up there. I don't know if I did it any justice, but it wasn't just one Marine. Deadliest weapon in the world, a Marine and his rifle. Old Jyrene, how you doing, brother? Let's see what you have. As a trained, concealed carry, every time you handle your weapon, recite the 4 golden rules of safety weapons handling. Another awesome habit to get into, and I do. I tell them to myself. I walk myself through it. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Keep your finger straight off the trigger until you intend to fire, and never put your finger on the trigger till you intend to fire. Those 2 I kind of screwed up. Bottom line is, know where your muzzle is at all times. If it's a pistol, obviously it's harder, it's smaller. Always know muzzle awareness. Muzzle where the bullet comes out. Always know where that muzzle is. And then finger straighten off the trigger. There are only 2 kinds of people that understand Marines. Marines and the enemy. Everyone else has secondhand opinion. I like that one too, Doc. That's awesome. Know your target and what's beyond it. That was another old Jyrene. That was a rules, an ROE, rule of engagement in combat. Those of you who've been, the ROE, from what I can remember, changed during every single combat deployment. It would change the rules of engagement, and it sure seems like the U.S. is the only one who abides by the rule of engagement. I'd like to believe everyone does, but they don't all follow the same Geneva Convention that the U.S. does. We follow those rules, and people get punished if you don't. And I think that does date back as well. Any war crimes, I think they still investigate. They still try to get to the bottom of it. And got to believe Marines weren't doing the same atrocities as other countries did. Decades ago, World War I and II was a little different. I understand that, Vietnam, but it doesn't happen as much now, I believe. But the rules of engagement changed frequently throughout. But that was, I agreed with that when old Jyrene said, know your target and what's beyond it. Civilian casualties. You don't want to cause any civilian casualties or civilian damage behind what you're going to do. PID, positive identification, right? That came out. You have to have PID. You had to have PID, not only that you saw the enemy, but you have to have PID of a weapon. Are you always going to see it? The men wear the man dresses. It's hidden very well in it. They can shoot through it. That was a tough one to kind of say okay to. Even though you knew for a fact he had a weapon, but you didn't see it when he was walking in the streets, you cannot engage. I don't want to get into any kind of legal stuff here, but at the end of the day, what's that one saying? I'd rather be judged by 9 instead of carried by 6. So when in doubt, safety, right? Be aggressive, be safe, but take care of yourself. All right, Marines of War were respected because of their discipline, toughness, and unwavering commitment to duty. They uphold the high standards, excel in combat, and live by core values of honor, courage, and commitment. Semper Fi, Doc. That's awesome. 100%. Thanks, Heavy J. Commitment, earning admiration worldwide. That's it. I'm telling you. No regrets, right? And my daughter's, as you know, is a senior right now, making decisions about the future, and that's her goal is to be a Marine officer one day. And people ask, doesn't it scare you, to have your own kids and your daughter? USMC Cece is a Marine, kicking butt and taking names. So does it worry me? Yeah, but any job and anything can happen at any time. And if it's in their heart to serve their country, 100%. Support them to the day I die. And that's the fear. That's why people join for all different reasons. People serve for all different reasons. And sometimes not even to serve for all the other benefits that it entails on joining. So 100% more power to them. Less than 1% of the population serves. URAH to them. All right, look who's here. Number one, Kimi Cece. Kimi Cocoa Puffs. Kimi Cece, number one, is here. Present and accounted for. All right. We're gearing up for Let's Go. LSCO. What's that, Menachem? Menachem's, it's scary. Doc Holidays. Hell, getting out of bed is dangerous. Well, I'm glad to almost be serving. Menachem, what is LSCO? I was going to try. There's one of them acronyms. Remember we talked about acronyms one time. Everybody in Menachem's crew right now is saying LSCO like it's because everyone knows it. Once you get in to that AO and some of the area of operations, right? Some you know like the back of your hand, and some when you join that meeting and they're talking about a new one. LSCO, large scale combat operation. It seems like I should have probably heard that one before. Large scale combat operations. All right, get after it. It should be scary. Training should be realistic, right? You want the training as realistic as possible. Live fire ranges, 29 Palms. If you know, you know, you've been on plenty of those live fire ranges where the machine guns are firing over your head at a safe distance and higher than they would probably in a combat situation, but they are firing straight over your head, mortars flying over your head. That's live fire training. It's got to happen. You have to know how to maneuver and follow your avenues and everything involved in while someone's firing over your head. So yes, should be a little scary. Be nervous, Menachem, but don't be scared. Get some. Like full on war, not insurgency. Again, I'm a little excited, Menachem. That sounds pretty cool. So definitely make sure you tell us all about it when you get back. But be safe, but be aggressive. Uh-oh, look at Carrie Ann Marie Potts. See that? What made you not follow in Dad's footsteps? Kimi's got an awesome story. We'll let her tell it. Marines are respected through their unwavering courage, selfless service, and the unbreakable brotherhood that drives them to fight, win, and never leave a fellow Marine behind. Doc's on fire tonight. Never. We're learning in the chaplain training how to administer ministry in a large-scale combat environment. Wow, very cool, Menachem. So that again, those of you that don't know, Navy chaplains go to combat with Marines when they're on the green side. Navy chaplains, they're on the blue side, they're on ships, they're in the chapels on base. But when they're on the green side, Navy chaplains on the green side, they join battalions. Usually 03, 04. Maybe we had 05, like at the regiment level. And I think there's one general chaplain, I'm not sure, or admiral, if you will. So now they join a battalion, excuse me, go to training, go to 29 Palms, Big Island, wherever you're having to do training, and then they deploy with you. They are part of the team. They wear camis. They're in Marine regs, haircut, height and weight, right? The whole nine. They're assigned to that unit, a chaplain and an RP. Chaplain is the officer, and the RP, religious person, is what I always say. That's not the. Somebody help me out with the RP. What's the religious person?
Yeah, but
Oh, which one?
Randall just gifted 10.
Randall just gifted 10. I'm telling you, this whole thing is going to be green too. Thank you, Randall. God bless you, brother. So more members. This is great. So the chaplain, that's why Menachem's doing this combat training, large scale combat operation, because that's what chaplains do. They go with the combat. unit a battalion size. So an O3 would go with a battalion size element. Religious programmer. Thanks, Menachem. Of course, Menachem, you better know that RP is going to save your butt. So the RP does carry a weapon. The chaplain does not. And they're still on the battlefield. They go to small outposts. They go on patrol with the Marines. Ideally, you keep them in the rear with the rest of the battalion or regiment, but they go out and make visits and pray on the spot, right? A patrol is getting ready to go out. If the chaplain is in your compound, chaps, can you give us one before we head out? So they're just as much in harm's way as every other Marine, or I'm sure the Army is the same way. The chaplains are there, they're present. And how do you pray for, or how do you minister to, how do you pastor a whole organization, a company of 36 Marine infantrymen? Do you think they all have the same religious beliefs? Nope. You're going to have one atheist, you're going to have Muslims, you're going to have Protestants, Catholics, Jews. You're going to have all those in one unit, small unit like that. So it's a non-denomination type prayer. And I remember when the chaplain would come out, what he would do separate is when we had time, when they were back at the base camp, and they actually had a little bit of off time, if you will. He would have two different services: Catholics, maybe Catholics and Protestants, and then Christian, which was like the non-denomination one. That's where everybody would go to the Christian service. And I remember one particular time, this was, I think it was Iraq, and the chaps came out. We got radio call that chaps is on his way. Chaps and RP and a patrol was getting ready to go out. And they like trying to meet their timeline. And chaps, the jump didn't show up in time with chaps going out. And the patrol's ready to go. They were at the gate getting ready to step. All radio calls, everyone knew. Step, step, step. The squad leader said, "Can we please wait for chaps?" And what's our priorities of work for the Marine Corps? Mission accomplishment. Troop welfare is second. I didn't like the feeling that he had an uneasy feeling about it. So I called it the jump, say, "Hurry up, get chaps here. Let them at least see them off." And it wasn't, you can see, for a couple miles in the desert, we didn't see no smoke trail, dust trail. We knew they weren't close. So they took off. We had to meet our deadline, mission accomplishment, number one. They took off, didn't get into trouble, but they got into a little skirmish where they had to halt, had to kind of make a right flank to outflank this, whatever it was that caused them to stop. Just so happens, the convoy coming in with the chaplain on it, the jump platoon, also got into a little something that they had to revert their tracks. So both of them going towards each other, just far apart. But they had to make a right hook. These guys had to make a left hook, and they ended up at the same place. With security set up, they did the 360. Marines on the ground providing security, finding out what those two things were that did we need to engage and whatever, just getting a situation update, pass it back to the headquarters. What do you want us to do? But in that time, the chaps and the RP went to each and every Marine. Boom, just a little prayer, said something to every single one of them, to the drivers, to the up gunners, got back in their vehicle. It was cleared by then. Patrol took off, and the jump platoon went to base camp. So it works out. I got to believe that was that a coincidence that they met up in the middle of the battlefield? I think not. I think he had a plan, right? Wanted to get them that comfort before they went on this patrol. So, Menachem, we're following you. We want to know all about it. Let us know how this battle goes. All right. Doc says the Navy Marines worked side by side, proving that together, they're an unstoppable force, brothers in arms, each ready to support the other, no matter the odds. 100%. Again, Doc is on fire tonight. Our other Navy brethren is the Corman. 100%, a battalion size element, say 12, 13 100 Marines, that'd be about maybe 150 sailors. The chaplain and his RP, the doctors, the RPs, I mean the PAs, what do they call it? Physician assistants, and corpsmen all throughout from chief on down. They usually send a senior chief or senior chief with the battalion, and then everyone underneath him or her. And they do. Then they spread those corpsmen out. They enlisted to a couple to each company, one in the headquarters unit, someone to set up the hospital, the quick reaction force. They're spread out and they work. And they're on the battlefield with the Marines, running and gunning, just like the rest of them. Difference is when a Marine goes down, their work just doubles. Now they're flying up in the heat of battle and working on this Marine, saving his life. It's amazing what these corpsmen are capable of. And then the ones who need to get medevaced out, they get them on a bird. They make sure they live long enough to make it to the helicopter, to make it to the aid station. And it doesn't always work out, but the amount of work, and they're never done. Right? When you see a corpsman at the end of a patrol, and he's carrying more stuff than everyone else. Right? He's got to carry all that stuff to take care of you once you do go down, or if you go down. And he's dealing with everyday stuff: blisters, dehydration, splinters. Well, I mean, whatever happens to you in the field, bad back, bad knees, twisted your neck, twisted your shoulder, whatever happens just in the heat of training and battle, the corpsman is always there. So God bless all the corpsmen, RPs, chaplains, corpsmen, doctors, love all y'all. And yes, it is one. Doc is on it. One team, can't do it without each other. Era. Where's Maka? I saw you on there. There's no matzo ball soup in Marty. That'd be pretty good. You'd have to be dehydrated, of course, and you add your own water later. Uh, one day there'll be one. So I did see someone that was talking about being a vegetarian. Randall Knapp's wife, Ellie, is a pescatarian. We had a pescatarian in the family for a little while. Very interesting. Couple years. She did it for a couple years. Ate very clean. She can eat fish, right? But no meat. It was interesting. Learned a lot about it. And everyone's body is different. So you never know what could work for you. Gunnar Kincaid. You really want to be a Marine? Hang out with this channel. Hang out here. You'll get to know anything and everything you possibly need to know about the Marine Corps, past or present. That's who's on this channel. Everyone. High school is getting ready to go in the Marine Corps. Active duty. Where's Gunny East, by the way? And prior service and retirees. We got them all right here. So any question you have, Gunner, hit them up. Hit them up. I guarantee somebody has the right answer for you. Interesting. Carl Green will check the back into YouTube studio and report back. Oh, that's, you got that? Producer has that for action. All right. So vegetarian and pescatarian are not the same thing. Vegetarian is no meat, and I'm not the expert here, so help me out. Vegetarian is no meat whatsoever, to include fish and eggs, right? That's a vegetarian or vegan. Pescatarian can eat eggs and fish. Am I close on that? Yeah. Not too sure. Oh, there's Gunny East. What's happening, brother? Gunner Kincaid's 12 years old. I want to be a MARSOC Marine. You absolutely can. You just have to wait 5.5 years. At 17 and a half, you can sign up. Somewhere around your 17. So 5 years, enlist. Go for it. Until then, PT, physically fit, mentally tough, and be ready for a big culture shock. But talk to Marines, right? If you're not in a JROTC, Young Marines, Devil Pups, Civil Air Patrol, if you're not in one of those programs, get in one of those programs now. They absolutely will help you, whether you're going to college, become a Marine officer, or if you enlist. They will benefit you highly, whichever path that you choose. Isn't that great advice? Start with becoming 18 and graduate boot camp. Absolutely. That's all part of it. Civil Air Patrol has a Marine program, not a Marine program, but they have their Civil Air Patrol. That's what I don't know what they're called, patrolmen, cadets, I'm guessing. But they do the same type of stuff. You get credit for Civil Air Patrol. That's when you can attempt SOI. Yeah, good on you. That great advice. My parents won't sign the contract. I have to be 18. They won't sign the 17-year-old contract. Then just wait. No rush. That's a year different. No big deal. Be ready, though. Be prepared. Know what you want to do. You have plenty of time to think about it. So, again, from now until then, study Marine Corps Customs courtesies, history and tradition, and PT your butt off. All right. Good on you. Great topics so far already. Yeah. All right. Keep a clean record. Oh, Jake, look at that. Great advice. Great advice. Keep a clean record. Don't have anything by the time you're 18 that may get disputed in your contract. Don't get no tattoos. Don't get in trouble. No underage drinking. Don't get do the right thing. You can never go wrong. Do what you got to do. Graduate high school. Study your butt off. Try to take some college courses. If you're going to enlist, take the practice ASVAB a couple times. Then take the ASVAB as a junior. Get ready. Just start you again at 12 years old. Man, you're way ahead of the game. You already know what you want to do, so get after it right now. Remember, with MARSOC, a lot of it's being a good dude. So you got to be that all-around good Marine. You can, though. Ooh, good. Carrie Ann Marie Potts. Look at that. Kincaid, bring your family into this channel. Show them the channel. Show them the kind of community that you're going to be a part of. See the type of family that they are going to be a part of as well. Once you're in there, and they're family too. So let them. Awesome, Carrie Ann Marie for the win. Great idea. There's another one I want to. And my record running my backyard, no stop and rest, 7 miles. There you go. So you already got the physically fit part. Now hang out here and learn more about the Corps. Look at Jake. Name is green again. Doc says, be ready to push yourself beyond your limits. The Marine Corps will challenge you physically, mentally, and emotionally, but it will also teach you how to embrace the brotherhood and never forget that the Corps is about service, sacrifice, and always doing your best. Being first at everything we do. That's it. There's no other way to put it than you want to be the very best. Be in boot camp. You want to graduate number one. You have to have that mindset. Now, all 89 of you can't graduate as number one, but by God, you should be trying to graduate number one. Anytime you see someone that is outdoing you, instead of dogging him or her, get up to their level. That's that equalizer that we talk about all the time. Do anything and everything in your power to be the very best version of you. I don't know if I like that quote very much. It seems a little sensitive, but you have to be the very best you every single day. Right? Can you have bad days? You're going to, no matter whether you like it or not, you're going to have a bad day. But it's how you display yourself during that bad day. Are you one of those that, oh man, look, he's having a bad day today? Not a leader. That's not leadership. Not today. I don't. It's Monday. Don't bring those problems to me today. You have a leader like that? Come on. Every day is the best day of your life. You're in a leadership position. You're in a leadership billet. Do everything and anything possible to make your unit, your department, your squad, whatever you're in charge of, your job that day, same as it was yesterday and the same tomorrow, to make your organization better. Your work doubled, sometimes tripled, depending on the unit that you're going into. We talked about that. Do your leaders give orders or do they lead? Anyone can give orders. They can receive orders from the top and just hand them down. All right, this is what we're doing today. The boss wants the whole area police called. Now, first of all, take those orders and publish them as your own. You've already been tasked as the leader. Here's what we're doing today, and here's why. Let's go. All right, not a task, not a mission that again you would text a group chat. All right, I need you guys to do. Nope, that's just giving orders. And by text, come on, really? Meet. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Now, let's go police call and show them that the worst part of police call to the day I die is picking up cigarette butts. I'll pick up all the trash in the world. Hated picking up cigarette butts because they didn't smoke. All right, why can't the smokers pick them up? Field strip that baby, put it in your pocket. I see Marines do it. You know what to do and how to do it. Stop throwing them on the ground. But as a leader, I would do it with them. That's leading. That's not giving orders. It's a difference. Too many order givers out here. In the civilian community, I got to believe it's worse. I'm experiencing it right now. Just someone giving orders. Anyone can do that. That's not difficult. It takes no leadership to do that. In fact, you're just holding up a leadership position that somebody could actually lead in that position. So know yourself, seek self-improvement. If it's not working, fix it. Police call. Good question, Malcolm. What is police call? Again, my apologies. If you know, you know. Police call is just picking up trash. Right? When you go after your company area, before you leave for today, police call it a field op. Right? When you're moving from one position to another, before you leave, you're going to make that area look better than what you found it. Right? You can move into an outpost in combat. You're taking over someone's company outpost, a cop. It's probably going to be thrashed no matter what. That's how Marines are. This place is trash. I can't believe they would leave it like this. Man, what's the matter with them? Someone's going to say the same thing when they move in after you. But all you can do, your very best to make sure it does look better than how you received it. And you don't know the whole story, why they left, when they did, were they in a hurry? Did they not have it? Whatever. You need to get that in your head, especially Marines. We know better. Leave it better than what you got it. Leave it better than what you received it. Told you about the barracks. Infantry moves in and out of barracks the whole time they're assigned to one unit. In 3-3, I think we moved the battalions, the billeting for the single Marines 5 or 6 times in 2 deployments. They never went back to their own original barracks. So it's tougher to take ownership of that. But either way, when we left for deployment, and I inspected every single barracks room before we left, made sure it looked better than what we received it. And that's common sense. You would think you borrow your neighbor's tool, right? You borrow your neighbor's lawnmower because whatever happened to yours, you borrow it. No matter how you received it, even if it was nasty, when you return it, clean that baby, polish it, fill it up with gas if it's gas, roll the cord up nice and neat if it's electric, return it better than what you borrowed it. One, it's going to, in the back of his mind, he's like, oh, man, look at this thing. It looks great. If he ever needs it again, I'm going to let him borrow it. Right? If you bring it back, cords all twisted up in knots and still grass stuck underneath. When you cut wet grass, just a mess, barely rolling it over. It's a mess. Common sense. If you ask me again, you return it like that, you ain't getting it a second time. Right? Fool me once. So that's with everything. Leave something better than what you found it, no matter where you are. If you go to a unit, by the time you leave that unit, you hope and pray that you've worked hard enough to make that unit or that organization better than what you received it. That's what we do. So when I see people that don't, they're okay with rolling into a unit, that's pretty good, and continue to ride that baby for your 3-year deployment, or if you're in the civilian community, however long you survive there, and nothing had gotten better the whole time you were there, you didn't do anything. You didn't work. You didn't do the job that you were intended to do, that somebody hired you to do. Anybody can keep something afloat. Your job is to make it better, because everybody can get better. Is there a perfect unit out there? perfect battalion, perfect regiment, perfect civilian organization. Nothing is perfect. Always room for improvement. So keep that in your mind. Man, I just spent 3 years here. I just did 1 year here. Did an entire year here, and we're kind of the same as when I got here. Oh, you failed. Plain and simple. How is it better? Make it better. I try to, but the boss won't let me. Well, then you fight. That's all your team wants you to do is fight for them. USMC vet will be here. Enemies. I always lend my truck to a friend with one rule. If you wreck it, total it because I want a new one. That's a great rule. You don't get a fender bender. If you wreck it, you better total that baby because you're buying me a new one. I've lent my truck out. I am very, very possessive of my truck, but I've lent it to other people before. It scares me when the producer drives it. That's all of a sudden it comes back with little dents and dings, and the rim has a little scratch on it. Windshield's cracked now all of a sudden. But I keep letting her drive it. I don't know why. The Watcher received a membership. Congratulations. That's either from Doc, who else? Randall. Who? That's our community. Man, whoever that just was. Those of you that received memberships out of nowhere, that's from our community right there. The motivators in the chat box right now, they purchase them, and then YouTube distributes them however they see fit. So glad you got one. All right. Started talking to my parents so much about the Marines that they asked me to stop talking about Marines and go find a different hobby. All right. Make your hobby PT. But seriously, Kincaid, try to get them, maybe just have our channel up one day in the same room, let them kind of overhear it. Just get them involved, right? They want to let them be a part of it's your life, right? And when you turn 18, you're an adult, you can do whatever you want, but it'd be much better if they were on your side, on your team, if they were there to support you, if they loved it as much as you did. My parents didn't sign right away. I was 17. Took my dad longer than it took my mom, but months. I was on delayed entry for 11 months, maxed. 11 months on the delayed entry program as a 17-year-old, still in high school. So my parents had to sign it. I think it for real took my mom about 6 months to sign, then my dad about 9 months. I mean, I was starting to sweat it, thinking I was going to have to wait till I was 18, which was only a couple months after I graduated, a month after I graduated, so I could have. But that's what I remember my recruiter kept telling me. We want them on board. We want them to be proud of you. We want them to support you. They're going to be a part of the family. So definitely do what you can. And he would come over, he would visit. You're just a young, Gunny, so you have time. But don't overload them right now to where they get to that point where like, stop talking about it already. So let it go for a little while, keep training, and then bring it up next year. And you never know. Maybe you may change your mind, right? You have a long time. So right there, Jake says never give up, right? Never quit or give up. If it's meant to be, if it's really what you want, then it will happen. Brandon says, I remember senior officer told us junior Marines in a meeting that had an open door policy. Nobody was silly enough to take him up on it. A senior officer told us that junior Marines had an open door policy. So that open door policy, that's interesting too. And a couple different ways to look at the open door policy. I think a lot of leaders like to say it because it sounds good. I got an open door policy. You can come talk to me anytime. Some people take advantage of that, right? And but sometimes you do, and the answer is, well, did you talk to your boss first? Do you talk to your manager first? Here's how I personally feel about the open door policy. If you're a leader that's out with your teams and you're out and about, you're not stuck behind that large steel desk, it's clear you have an open door policy because you're out there with them. If you're in the Marines, obviously easy going to the field with them, sleeping in that same sleeping area that they do, and the showering in the shower tent instead of going back to the rear, taking a shower, changing over, instead of going to Alberto's, right, to get a burrito, you eat MREs with them. You're with them as much as absolutely possible until you get called in for a meeting. That was me, right? They'd have to find, if somebody finds Sergeant Major, tell me he's late for the meeting. I'm with my boys, right? That's, I'll take an ass chewing, excuse me, a butt chewing all day long if I miss a meeting because I'm with the man in the field, in combat, on a patrol. So open door policy, I've always had it. I don't even remember if I ever said it because my leadership style was open door policy. So kind of tricky when leaders say that. Why didn't you come to me with this problem when it happened last year? Well, and even use an open door policy. Here's a professional way to use an open door policy. Send an email. Sir, when you have time, I'd like to get on your calendar for a maybe 15-minute discussion at your convenience. I'll make myself available anytime. That's the open door doesn't literally mean my door's open. You can come in and walk in anytime. They're busy, right? Randall said he's talking about a lieutenant colonel. They're busy. They have things to do. They have meetings. So it's not, you don't just bust in there and say, I got a problem, right? Do your homework, do your research, use tact when you ask for that 15 minutes of his or her extremely busy schedule. That's how you utilize that. Well, you have an open door policy and the whole chain of command. Does anytime I would go want to talk to the boss, let my direct supervisor know. I'd like to set up a meeting with so and so. Just letting you know. And that if that was a good leader, he can say, "Oh, absolutely, I'll make it happen." What's the discussion about? Maybe we can handle it right here at the lowest level. All right, that's the whole need for the what's it called when you request mass, right? To request mass, you have an issue. You took it to your immediate supervisor. He couldn't handle it, so he passes it up to the next member of the chain of command, or you request mass to the commandant of the Marine Corps and say, yes, I've talked to my entire chain of command about this. This needs to be discussed with you directly. And I've seen it be used and it works. All right. OG, what up, brother? Good to see you. Better late than never. Burpees, you know the deal. You owe us. Alejandro, what did you choose, DI or recruiter? I chose DI, Alejandro. Chose DI like halfway through boot camp. I knew I wanted to be a drill instructor for payback reasons, of course, and to make Marines. Never. And I also funny because I wanted to be a recruiter as well, just to see the other side of making Marines. Right? It's a learned a lot. I've told the story a few times, but I spent a weekend with the recruiting station, and they work extremely hard. A very thankless job. That they need their props. I think recruiters definitely bust their butt. All right. Granbury Kid here. Your leadership panel was super informative on the things I've been working on. All right, Preston B. Good to hear. Good to hear. Glad you liked it. And definitely that's never pass up an opportunity like that. Which one? Yes. Sorry. Helping me with my notes. What's the best workout? Gunner, 12 years old. Everybody on here, 12 years old, and he is already training to become a United States Marine. Right now at your age, your body's still forming. Do some cardio. You're already running, right? Push-ups, pull-ups, right? Marines are judged immediately by how many pull-ups they can do. So at your age, you should be doing a couple, but 23, let's make your goal 25. Just keep doing pull-ups. That's an everyday event that you can do. Again, you're still young. Eat right. Hopefully you don't eat a lot of crap, a lot of fast food and all that. You have plenty of time. Don't get into the supplements. Your body can't take them at this age. You're just going to waste your money. Don't take no pre-workout, no protein powder. Just eat. Just eat well, eat clean, and cardio, pull-ups, push-ups, just thrash your body. Watch a video too if you hear it, if you need to. I don't recommend, you don't even need to be going in the gym at 12, but you can. Just work on total body fitness and as much as you can. Start doing fun runs, right? Get used to the long distance. In the Marine Corps, the farthest you run a boot camp is 3 miles, right? The initial strength test is 1.5 miles. So get your 1.5 miles down first, then start running 3 miles. Get your 3 miles down first. So it's just nonstop. Don't get sedentary. Is that we just sit and do nothing? Just continue to work. All right. How stressful is it to be a DI? It's pretty stressful. It's something you get used to. Your body gets used to it because you're getting 3-4 hours of sleep at night in the very beginning. You're constantly on your feet. You're going to get blisters on your heels and toes. And a good tip I learned early on, somebody who was gracious enough to pass it to me, was to buy your cord frames one size too big and wear 2 pair of socks, right? Or PT socks and then your black socks. So you couldn't even tell, but I had 2 pair of socks. Shoes were one size too big and even tied them loosely because you're on your feet all day from sun up to sundown, constantly moving. And again, back starts to hurt, knees start to hurt. You're constantly moving, constantly yelling, right? I don't think you can prepare for the yelling part. You're going to yell, you're going to scream, you're going to lose your voice, then you're going to kind of build something up. A lot of DIs use the frog voice. I never did. We just powered through. You're going to tear up some vocal cords if you're loud enough. But the stress part, yeah, stress about, because everything's a test, everything's a competition. Drill, you want to be the best at drill, so you're spending all your time on drill. Oh, but so is the PFT, so you have to spend time on PT. And then a rifle range, yeah, that's a competition too. So everything in boot camp for the recruits is a competition, and the drill instructor's got to train them to that standard, right? It's a competition. Your average is 6 platoons, 3 and 3 fight. They fight each other to be the series PTs, the series drill, and then you compete as a company. So that can get stressful. You don't want to be last every time, right? And once you take first once, like in initial drill, then everybody's gunning for you. So it's a constant competition. And then you want the high shooter, you want the high PFTer recruits. You want your guys to do the best in all those areas. Knowledge, right? You're taking written tests and a practical application test. You don't want to come in last in any of those events. So that's a constant. Everyone's watching you, everyone's looking at you. They judge you off of your platoon. So if your platoon is nasty, drill instructors need to get after it. So it is stressful. OG, whoever gifted me channel membership last 2 months, thank you very much, Semper Fi. Awesome. Play forward, OG. That's what happens. Some of our generous community members right here gifted them. Once again, YouTube disperses them however they see fit. I'm glad you got one. Yes, whoever's asking, the Sergeant Major was a 1371 combat engineer, backbone of the Corps. Where's JTB at? Hot Rod, best advice ever for boot camp. Be loud and move fast. Said it. Heard him say it to a group of kids getting ready to maybe go into one of the service. Best advice ever. Be loud and move fast. Are you still going to get in trouble, still get yelled at? You bet. Absolutely. That's part of the build-up phase of you. But you're going to get yelled at less than the ones who are quiet and moving slow. Nothing worse you can do as a recruit is not sound off on the top of your lungs. The recruits should lose their voice in the first couple of days as well, not just the drill instructors. If you're not sounding off at the top of your lungs as a recruit, it's going to get noticed and you're going to get thrashed. So be loud and move fast. Matthew Martinez, drill instructor, informed us to use your diaphragm. And I've heard that for years and years and years. You yell from the throat. You bring it up from your diaphragm. I don't know if I really have ever mastered that or not. I have a kind of a deeper voice. I can't do anything a high pitch. And I say that too, from your diaphragm. I don't know how to pull it from my diaphragm. I just get as loud as possible. But if you figure it out, by all means, that will save your throat. Sergeant Gitmo taught me to put my nylons on my bare feet before we put on socks to prevent blisters as well. I heard that before. Also, nylons, right? It makes you feel a little funny, but so your socks slide over the nylon. You get a blister because your socks rub your skin. Right? Constantly rubbing your skin, you get a hot spot, then it turns into a blister. If you have two pair of socks, the socks rub on each other. So that works. I again learned that in boot camp. My whole career until JRTC, I wasn't moving as much. I would wear two pair of socks, boots and core frames. Boots, I'd wear white socks, and then the brown over socks, so you couldn't even tell I had two pair on. But very rarely would I get blisters. Right, and I got some Fred Flintstone feet. If you know, you know. So I didn't get a whole lot of blisters, and I got to attribute it to that. Always wearing two pair of socks. And even when I didn't have the white pair, I'd wear two boot socks, right? Back in the day when they were wool socks, that's for the old timers, those were terrible, terrible. I think that's what prompted me to do it in boot camp anyway, because we had the wool green socks. I didn't like them directly on my feet or legs, so I'd wear my long, and back then we had long white PT socks, right? Like shin high or knee high. I would wear those and then put my boot socks on. Helps every time. Ren, I have to try the nylons. Got bad blisters rucking a few weeks ago. I had no moleskin. Moleskin, that's another great tool if you use it right. Putting moleskin on a blister is only going to hurt like hell when you rip that baby off, because now you're pulling the skin off with you. So here's how you use moleskin. And that's what it is, a sheet of moleskin. You cut out however much you need. Doc, right? Corman up. You got to put it on prior to the hike, prior to getting a blister. So as soon as you get a hot spot, and now you can't always stop when you feel that hot spot. So you got to know where your hot spots are. And that's that, like normally on the heel, maybe the side of your big toe. You know, everyone's feet are a little different, but chances are you're going to get hot spots on your heels. So that's when you cut a big strip of moleskin, and put it right on your skin. Then you put your two socks on. Now it's just another layer of protection for your skin. But again, the key is to use it before you get a blister. It's real sticky. It's the adhesive is great. So again, if you put that on top of a blister, yummy. Pull that moleskin off, the skin's going to come off too. Now you're going to have an open wound, and if you don't take care of it, it's going to get infected, and a bad day. If your feet aren't 100%, you're not going to be 100%. How are you going to get around? So take care of your feet. That's why the joke is, Corman, those of you that out there, what's the Corman tell you? Doc, man, my shoulder hurts. She's like, all right, here, take some Motrin and change your socks. Should be the last thing out of every corpsman's mouth whenever they're treating you in the middle of field out in combat. Right, patch this bullet hole and don't forget to change your socks. Take some Motrin and change your socks. That's how important it is. Talk to Vietnam veterans. Manaka, change your socks and 500 milligrams of Motrin. That's it. I'm telling you, every time. Go Fasters. What's up, Mark? Mark Hankinson here is here. What is Go Fasters? And yes, still to this day, I call them Go Fasters. Right? When I tell my kids, let's go for a run, get your Go Fasters on. Go Faster. This is your tennis shoes. You know, in boot camp, they change the name of everything. A pen is not a pen, it's an ink stick. A flashlight is not a flashlight, it's a moonbeam. Right? Little things like that. Your tennis shoes, your running shoes are Go Fasters because, well, they make you go faster, of course. go fasters, moonbeam, scuzz brush, and then a regular naval terminology, porthole, hatch, head, all that stuff included with the drill instructor's own personal ones. Portholes, glasses, that was my favorite. You wore glasses. Come here, portholes. You're injured, you're using crutches, sticks, right? Own language. It's a completely different language down there. Uh, Tiger says, what's your opinion of the position of first squad?
It's the sergeant.
Oh, first sergeant. Oh, the G looks like. What's your opinion on the position of first sergeant? Great question, Tiger. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the first sergeant community because I was a first sergeant. But I know for a fact you can't get any mission accomplished without the master sergeant there. Is that your question? The first sergeant versus master sergeant? I've done a couple of shorts. We discuss it quite often. It is a hot topic of discussion for gunnies. E8, I'm sorry, E7s, getting ready to pin on E8. And those of you that know that the process is you request, as a gunnery sergeant, you request one path or the other, first sergeant or master sergeant. And you request that on your fitness report, your evaluation when you're a gunny, most importantly. So there's one block and you fill out your name, date of birth, rank, all that stuff. You put that on. There's one block that asks which one you want to do. Right there, Tiger said, I've been told that the first sergeant is the babysitter and Mr. Fix It. So a little bit, Tiger, that's accurate. So depending on your career, what you've done throughout your career, the Marine Corps decides because it's a needs of the Corps. A board of first sergeants, master gunnery sergeants, and sergeants major look at your career from boot camp to today, see what you've done, and try to determine off of that what's best for the Marine Corps. They look at your request, which is just a request. Say you put F, you want to be a first sergeant, but they look at your career, they look at the needs of the Corps and realize, no, you didn't make the cut. We don't need first sergeants right now. Your MOS needs your skills and ability in the Motor T community, so we're going to make you a master sergeant in that Motor T community. So it's the needs of the Corps. Now, the talk is always, and we were just talking about it recently. I had a couple beers with the boys, and they were saying that the biggest, my favorite was, well, master sergeant can do a first sergeant's job any day of the week, but a first sergeant couldn't do the master sergeant's job because the first sergeant, yes, is morale, welfare, discipline, the senior enlisted advisor to the commander. He handles all things pay related, leave, um, dependent stuff, everything that has to do with being a Marine and that unit. You advise the commander on, hey, the morale's low, so we got to do something, or just pay and earning statements, leave statements, emergency leave. That's all the first sergeant. The master sergeant is the technical expert of that field. Again, Motor T will use. He knows anything and everything there is about the Motor T community. Or if not, by the time he's a master gun, he will. Master gun. So does the first sergeant babysit the Marines? Yes, pretty much, because you have some Marines doing some pretty stupid things. The first sergeant, unless he was prior Motor T, and even then, he doesn't advise the master sergeant or the Marines on Motor T stuff. That's what the master sergeant's for. So it's a beautiful relationship. The master sergeant doesn't have to worry about NJPs and pay, morale, welfare, conduct of the Marines. The master sergeant concentrates on the mission aspect of the Motor T community. The first sergeant takes care of everything else. So it is a beautiful relationship that, fortunately and unfortunately, because sometimes the wrong Marines don't get what they would be better at. And that's just, I mean, it happens. I think it's a good process. I think I like the way they do it. And here's what I'll tell you: those of you that want to be either one, first sergeant or master sergeant, and anyone in there right now coming up to it or coming close, I knew I wanted to be a first sergeant early on, as a sergeant, as a staff sergeant. So I even asked my reporting senior, who puts a paragraph on your evaluation, your fitness report or fit rep. They mark you, he's good at this, good at this, good at this, PMEs, everything's complete. Then they write a statement. I would ask my reporting senior and the reviewing officer every time, sir, I know I'm only a staff sergeant, but would you mind putting in there somewhere, would make a good first sergeant one day? His administrative skills are that of a first sergeant. So you get it early on in the head. So then when they brief you, and I did it as a gunny, when they pulled my name up in my picture, they don't do pictures anymore, but the briefer could say stuff like, wow, even as a staff sergeant, they're already looking at him to be a first sergeant. He requested to be a first sergeant. He's done all these schools. He's been all over. He's been a division, group, base. Wow, he really has, this is a perfect opportunity for a first sergeant. Now the master, on the other hand, what he or she should be doing is working in that MOS as much as possible. Take all the MCIs related to that MOS. Any journeyman school, like engineers, for instance. You go to engineer basic school, but they have engineer NCO school. They have engineer staff NCO school. And you stay in your MOS. You try to deploy as many times, field operations in that MOS. So you are a master of that MOS. So when, again, they pull your name up, picture, and they look at your career, and even, again, have the reporting senior, he's got the makings of a master gunnery sergeant in the engineer community, 100%. His technical skill with dynamite and TNT, and start putting that in there early. So you have to paint a picture of yourself, which way that you desire to go, and hopefully the Marine Corps sees fit, and I want to say does the right thing, but I think those boards even think they're doing the right thing. They have mission accomplishment. Priorities of work is mission accomplishment. If they made everybody what they wanted to be, you never know. We will have too many of one or the other. So it's a good system. All right, I think I do think it's a good system. So my thoughts on first sergeant, I loved everything about it. Right? That's what I want to do for a long time. All right, Gunny said, my colonel just wrote that I would be a great master sergeant, but keep in mind that I would make a wonderful first sergeant too. I usually tell them to put officer in there. But and so tricky, Guns. I don't know which route you do want to go, but definitely have them address it. Have them address it so they know you're already being proactive. That as soon as you do come in zone, prepare to get promoted to one or the other. That will help them decide. But with a statement like that, would make a great master sergeant and a wonderful first sergeant. That's not giving them anything. You got to kind of steer him in the right direction. Mark King said, my first sergeant was Korean War Marine, wore unauthorized herringbone satines, super squared away. It is. All right. Nah, I didn't get any. Didn't quench my thirst at all. All right. Roll call. Where we at time wise? Killing it. Great questions. Thanks. Once again, I love this community. Love the questions. Ran on that real quick, and then I'm gonna hit that. Said before, man was 2600. We only had master arms, master guns. At least when I was in 86 to 92. Wow, you're old. Then they're given the title Senior Enlisted Marine, SME, Senior Marine, SEM, Senior Enlisted Marine, and went by top. Yes, top was around for a very long time. It went out shortly after I came in. Didn't go out completely though, what I've been told. Our battalion had a sergeant major, saw him twice in 4 years. That's a good thing. Normally, the sergeant major sees the worst of the worst, and you're being punished. That's why you go see the sergeant major, or you're being meritoriously promoted. So hopefully, those 2 times was for something good. but it does, it happens that way. The and different back then, the whole top thing was the senior enlisted Marine of that unit. Because I think even first sergeants were called top for a while. Then it went to just the master sergeant, master guns. And again, I hadn't heard it 10 years prior to me retiring. I think they're getting away from it. Guns, this has gunny, gunnies. What do you think? Do they still use top? Did a short on that, the nicknames and acronyms that just have slowly gone away. All right. Roll call, everyone. McJunkin. Has anybody heard from McJunkin? Hope he's doing well. Hope the crew is doing well. Matthew Ashkin, we're still absolutely praying for McJunkin. John McJunkin and crew. We don't like when we don't see him on here. I know they get together most Sundays. So prayers up to John McJunkin. Matthew Askren, I hope everything's still going well with you. Michael's Drones, RCs and knives. Stack, where you at? Couple of you not here for one reason or the other. It's spring break still. Maybe they're somewhere on the beach partying it up. All right, here goes Adam East. All right, the good ones use top. I want to be top east. So they still use that. That's interesting. The good ones use top. Huh, that's interesting. Carlos Diaz. Carrie Ann Marie asked the other day for a short on tapping out, but only because I watched a video of family tapping shoulder, but one lad had no one touched, so who does?
Remember she left the comment on that?
Yes, I remember you asked that, Carrie Ann Marie. Who taps out? I still don't know what that means though. I asked the other day for a short on tapping out because I watched the video on family tapping shoulder, but one lad had no one touched him, so who does? The only tap out I know is when you're wrestling and someone's about to break your arm or choke you out. That's tapping out when you're wrestling. So that's what confused me. And did someone else know? What does it mean?
Did she mean like in a promotion?
A promotion when they tap you on the arm, when they punch you on the arm? I'm not sure. Carrie Ann Marie, we need a little more. Tapping out to me again in McMap wrestling. You tap out before something bad happens, so you're about to lose anyway, or lose a body part. Kimi Cocoa Puff says, I think it's Army. Their information and their family comes and finds them. Oh, yes, I've seen that before. Graduation. Yes, so they're at a graduation. They're facing whoever's that releasing them. Yes, thanks. Yes, okay, got it. And I don't know the answer because that's not how Marines do it. We do it the other way. They face the crowd and they fall out, and then they scramble, and the family comes. It's pretty cool though when they do go up and tap the shoulder of someone, and it's a family member, and everybody breaks down and cries. It's cool. I like seeing that. That's not something that the Marines do though. Yeah, so I'd imagine. Hopefully, they have someone they designate who doesn't have anyone there to, and they get a fellow soldier or member of the unit or another family member. And kind of sad for the ones who don't have some. And there's circumstances behind it. Maybe they can't come for whatever reason. Okay, got it. But yes, didn't quite understand that. There you go, Matt Suey. Not supposed to walk through someone's formation. Right? Don't break ranks. You're out of your mind. I earned a paycheck today, producer. Kimi Cocoa Puffs wants some. I thought it was a Marine. My mistake. Yes, Carrie Ann Marine. Don't you ever mistake a Marine for a soldier. Just kidding, but not. Drill 101. I'm with Matt Suey. You don't break ranks. All right. Whew.
Are you renaming her to Carrie Ann Marie?
I don't know.
I heard it like twice. I heard you say
Carrie Ann Marie Potts.
Marine.
Carrie Ann Marine. Carrie Ann Marine Potts. Do you support the Young Marines? Roman. Yes, I do, 100%. There's none in my area right now, but I did it where we were at last, and even did a Marine Corps ball celebration with them. I was a guest speaker for them one time. Yes, any and every opportunity I can to support the Young Marines. I think it's a great program. The units, the two units that I did know were really small, and I know it's difficult. And got to hand it to those instructors that that coach or drill or teach those guys, because it's such a diverse group in terms of age, right? I don't know what the minimum age is, maybe 10 or something. At a 10-year-old and a 19-year-old senior in high school, so a huge difference in age. It's not boot camp. You probably see them once a week, twice a week, maybe, and do stuff on the weekends. But the first time I saw them do a Marine Corps ball celebration, they did the colors, of course, and the sword detail, the cake cutting. They did the whole 9 yards. It was pretty awesome, and I think it's a great program. 100% get you ready for, if you're not already when you're younger, get you ready for JRTC, and those combined 100% help you definitely significantly in boot camp or in college later in OCS. I think those are both great programs. Uh, I Carrie Ann Marie Potts. When have I said your name wrong? Accountability. Yes. What are you talking about? Tiger. I have not seen Generation Kill yet. I'm a little selective with the military movies that I watch. Um, Not for any other reason. I can kind of tell right off the bat once you first start watching it from the beginning. It's all Hollywood and theatrics, and it's stuff that's just not gonna happen. I can't think of any right off hand, but I've heard nothing but great things about Generation Kill. I know it's a long series and haven't had time to get into it, but it's definitely one that I would watch. I stick to my, Full Metal Jacket, A Few Good Men, um, and then combat movies like Braveheart and 300. Those are like my top four, um, because of the tactics, the TTPs behind that in the days of the 1800s, right? The technology has changed, but back to basics, like I always talking about leadership 101. Football, you teach blocking, hips down, shoulders back, palms together, and you push. That's something that will never ever change. Same with basics of combat, right? The Those of you that know Braveheart, I used to show the indirect when I taught indirect fire for the Staff and Show Academy. I'd show Braveheart. At one part of the night, I think Battle of Falkirk. I don't remember which battle it was, but they went the night before and put all the oil on the ground where the enemy is going to be standing. Right? Enemy didn't know. They rode up on their horses because remember they meet face to face. They chat in the middle for a little bit, curse each other out, insult each other. Then they go back to their armies. Then they go fight. Pretty cool. What the Scots did was again put the oil on the ground the night prior, and then the next day they showed up. They talked, and he was picking a fight. He went back. First thing he did was shot arrows on fire on the ground where the enemy was. Whole field lit up on fire. That is a tactic that we use still today. Like, granted, it's artillery and it's from helicopters and from jets 38,000 meters in the sky, but same tactic. So back to basics. I like movies like that portray that stuff that hasn't changed, right, in decades and hundreds of years. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Back to basics. Leadership, back to basics. Lead by example. Do that first. Do that first and foremost. And then all the other leadership traits and principles should fall in line if you're there for the right reason. If you're not leadership, build it for the right reason. Mel Gibson for California governor, says Doc. Yeah. He's a different character, but he's a beast as William Wallace. Love it. Doing work. Thank you all for your service and sacrifices. Thank you. Doing work that goes for everybody here in this channel. Love it. Just keep Mel Gibson away from the tequila. That's, again, Mel has he's got his own issues. He was best as William Wallace, of course. Where's Mel's gun? Mel didn't need no gun. Oh, it's in different movies. Do they have what?
Guns and Braveheart.
Knives?
I said guns, but
Oh, no guns. No guns. Bow and arrows. Loose, right? The archers. Loved all the battle scenes, of course. They were gory, very well. So kind of before AI, CGI, right? They didn't have, there's some mistakes that you can see in there if you're a fanatic like I am and have seen it over 100 times. You'll see little, like one of the sword fights is funny as heck, where the extras, right, is Mel and somebody just going at it, and it was very well choreographed. But all the extras, and you can tell they had probably been doing it for a while because they were kind of fighting, like pretending to fight, but unrealistic in that part. And there's definitely some Hollywood and cinematic stuff that they added
like
to
when he bashed his
Braveheart.
head.
But and again, all the historians, that's not true. That's not how it happened. They didn't go there, and I got it. It still is a movie, right? So you have to expect some of the drama in it just to they got to sell the movie too and make money back. So, but it was good. It is my favorite movie of all time. Non-marine movie, but it's a military movie. The Pacific, still haven't made it all the way through the Pacific. I started it years ago, didn't finish. I want to start over and watch the entire thing. Again, heard nothing but great things about it. Love watching movies on John Basilone, just to learn more about him. But so many different movies to watch. I watched a bad one the other day, and I could tell I even powered through the whole thing.
The one with John Cena.
John Cena usually plays a pretty funny part. That was the one about the female and the dog handler, based on a true story, and it was a great subject. Could have been a great movie. They just they didn't use any actors, right? The portrayal of the Marines, and sometimes it's hard to get that right unless you're actually using Marines, right? It's hard to act like a Marine if you haven't. They have their advisors. There's their military advisors. Sometimes I wonder who they pick and how they come to pick that guy, especially when you're dealing with. Ah, you have to have the right advisor, right? If it's going to be something like drill, make sure it's a drill instructor, right? If you're going to be talking about drill and displaying drill or boot camp, if you're going to show boot camp scenes, get a drill instructor in there to do it. If it's a recruiter on the street, get a recruiter to help advise. Right? If it's just military tactic, if it's infantry going in a fight, get some infantrymen right off the battlefield and have them, hey, is this something? Is this realistic? Then they do their own little Hollywood touch up to it. But give them realistic type. Would this really happen with the lance corporal and the lieutenant? Things like that. Jarhead, right? A lot of controversy, but a lot of hate in Jarhead because that's not how they would really do it. It was another pretty accurate movie. And so in an instant like that, I got to think the military advisor for that was actually probably in Desert Storm because that was fairly accurate. All right, more than usual. So we'll see. Emperor Palpatine, USMC Chief 107. Wind Talkers, another good one. Wind Talkers is good. Those of you who don't know who the Wind Talkers were, that was the Native Americans that used their language to pass encrypted message to each other because, of course, everybody taps into each other's intel, and intel's not always that secure, and there's ways other people listen. Native Americans figured it out. They didn't know the Native American language. They got on the radios. They were communicating. Huge benefit. Awesome. The Wind Talkers. True Lies, 1994 Marines, and Harrier Jets. The Navajo Wind Talkers, that same thing as the Code Talkers. Black Hawk Down, Battle of Mogadishu, Operation Gothic, Serpent. I think that seemed pretty accurate as well. Carrie Ann Marie Potts has a request. Became a short on his favorite coins. Yes. Yes, absolutely. The challenge coin. Love a challenge coin. Talked about it before. I think I did one short a long time ago in the very beginning. I just had a random coin, but coins that we do talk about, and here's what I'll tell everyone, every branch of service, and even other people make coins too. First responders, like the police department has them, fire department. If you're in any of those organizations, get the coin for that unit, right? A lot of times everyone does it differently, right? Even as a first sergeant, our company had one. You present it for excellence, right? 3-3 presented it for combat excellence. Different reasons you do well on a CGI inspection. It's a little attaboy, but it's something cool, and you keep them. You see in prior service military offices, a big stack of coin. You see it in President Trump's office. He has some coins back there, obviously from some other dignitaries, maybe other countries. But I am definitely a coin guy. I love everything about them. And they all have a story behind it. I do every now and then. I say, man, where did I get this? This one's very cool. Getting them from other services in other countries is very cool. I think everybody would like an admiral, a general, right, to receive one from them, sergeant major, master chief, petty officer, all those services. And they're kind of cool. Very cool. I told you Sergeant Cece received one on graduation day, not only from the depot sergeant major, the depot commanding general, and the Secretary of the Navy. She got a higher coin in 3 months than I had in 30 years from the Secretary of the Navy on her graduation. She was the company honor graduate, and trophies and all kinds of stuff, and she got the Secretary of the Navy coin. I'd like to get today's Secretary of the Navy, or no, Secretary of Defense coin. Lake Cookie says, we have challenge coins for safety. Have all your fingers, you get a coin. All right. If you have all your fingers, you get a coin. There you go. Watch out for them buzz saws. Man. But I will. Carrie Ann Marie Potts, that's great. I'm trying to think of where all my coins are. And again, over the years, I have they're in a couple different locations right now, and I have a lot. I don't remember the last time I counted, but over about 300. But that's a long time collecting. Imagine if I was a Marine and got his name wrong. What? Am I saying the name wrong? Somebody help me out.
I don't see it anymore.
How about an honorary NCIS badge? Who is that you just said hi to? One that says, I'm your Huckleberry. Here's and with coins, you've seen some pretty creative ones. I remember in Okinawa, the academy had a whole bunch. We'd always try to get unique. Now they're going crazy with the styles and designs. With the bottle opener on a lot of them. Those are cool. But I think the key to it is you got to get the key information on there. Unit ones are pretty, not generic, but like for a battalion. You have the battalion commander's rank insignia, sergeant major, chevrons, it'll say something like, again, uh, presented for excellence, presented for combat excellence. And it's huge. We did get one from, every now and then, when I'm trying to think who it was, I talked about it before. Chief of Staff, I think Chief of Staff came out, visited us in Iraq, and one of the questions was, how many Marines you got at the post? And I had 150. He brought 150 coins. He gave everybody one. And that's cool. That's as meaningful. He gave them to me as a first sergeant. I gave them out to the Marines, but he presented a few to the chain of command, the headquarters, and every Marine received one. So that was very cool of him. But sometimes it loses the personal touch of you earned that one. So when people buy their own, I know the PXs sell them. There's some very cool ones, and I bought one or two over the years. But I try to keep my collection as those that were presented to me. But they all tell a different story. All right.
Did you see what my cookie wrote?
Nope.
Is it how about an honorary good conduct challenge point?
Not bad. Honorary good conduct. That's what Lay Cookie needs, definitely. For the years later that you made up for your conduct early on. Half of that was BS anyway. I got you. Old Irene says, I have a high coin from 3rd FSG Okinawa. Want to find someone who served with this unit to pass it on. A huge coin. Anyone know anybody from 3rd FSSG? What years, Old Irene? I was in 3rd FSSG for a while. I don't think the same time as you. 3rd FSSG, give us some years. That's very cool. USMC vet, opinion on NCO swords. Love them. And Marine NCOs are the only service members still authorized today to carry a sword into battle. Tell me that's not some era right there. Authorized, carry the NCO sword into battle. Obviously, we don't. It's not practical anymore, but it is still in our inventory for weapons of mass destruction, if you will. We don't. It's all ceremonial now, and I love everything about it. I think it's great. The NCO sword is great to learn how to use for ceremony purposes. Again, we don't fight with them, so that doesn't get taught anymore. But for parades and ceremonies, Marine Corps balls, celebrations, absolutely love it. And I love the fact that it is an NCO sword, so it is for NCOs and above. You don't have the privilege of wearing or using or utilizing an NCO sword until you become an NCO. I was at a ball one year, and when they do the sword detail, it's usually you match it up to corporals, sergeants, staff sergeants, gunnery sergeants. Some people put chief warrant officers in there. Some put lieutenants, captains, majors, depending on how long you want the sword detail to be, how big of an area you have, what size of the Marine Corps ball celebration you're doing. I did go to one that had, private PFC Lance Corporal, Corporal Sergeant, all the way up to, they had a Master Sergeant and a First Sergeant up there. But whoever put this together allowed the private PFCs and Lance Corporals to carry NCO swords. Huge no. You just don't do that. They don't rate to carry that sword. It's not authorized. So interesting. Just beware of that if you ever do organize a Marine Corps ball celebration or any celebration, they're not authorized to carry it. And as which officers carry the Mameluke sword, which I love the history behind that as well. I think they're great. Jay got a coin in his footlocker. It disappeared. Grandma gave it to him. I missed where it was from. You were correct. Hot Rod, stay engaged. Or Hot Rod taking off. See you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. I did see you say by USMC vet. It's weird. Active duty Marines officers don't get good conduct because they're expected to always have good conduct. However, reservist officers are awarded the Reserve Good Conduct Medal. Active duty Marine officers, you're right, do not receive good conduct medals. And I like that. But reservists are awarded Reserve Good Conduct Medal. I didn't know that. Marine officers, I seen the Reserve Good Conduct Medal. And I know that Marine officers don't receive good conduct. That's how it's funny because that's a way to tell right away if an officer was prior enlisted. One thing you look for is a good conduct. If they have it, chances are they had to have been prior service enlisted. But it's interesting about the reserve officers that they would receive one. Should be same across the board. Prior enlisted right away. First way to tell it. A couple of words that I think everyone looks for in when you meet someone or someone's taking over a command, you eyeball their rib and see where they've been, what they've done. It's a good way to kind of judge what you could be getting yourself into. Gerald Gray, must be new here. Welcome aboard. Brother, like and subscribe, become a member. Marines, U.S. Marines. And Mustangs, yes, Randall. Reserve officers, yes. Well, Gerald, you're a Marine too. Semper Fi, my friend. Welcome. Join us. Hang out for a little bit. We're going to wrap it up soon. Another great show. It's Sunday. You spent time with Jesus today, some point of your day. How would you describe him to someone else, right? I believe is the message of our church right now.
Did you see the poll?
No, I can't see the poll when you put them up there. What was it?
Best day for live streams, Sunday or Wednesday?
Best day for live streams, Sunday or Wednesday was the poll that the producer put on the chat. What are the results?
81% Sunday.
81% Sunday.
31 votes.
31 votes Sunday. So yes, that is something that we have recently been discussing. Should we stick to once a week? And if we did, which day would it be, Sundays or Wednesdays? Sundays has an 81% approval rating at REV. So we're definitely going to do it that. God, I'll have a great Sunday. See you Wednesday. Doc, see you right there. So if we do, we will definitely let you know if we're going to stick to just Sundays. Then throughout the week, that's what we're going to start putting out other content, videos and shorts. We'll see. That's all stuff that we're currently working on, but definitely Sundays. And we kind of had a feeling, right? Sundays is good. Wednesdays is good too. It's in the work week. Some people are a little busy. We go an hour later. We're on 4 different time zones. Some of you have kids, right? There's school activities, right? So we try to keep it right there. Carrie Ann Marie Potts misses Wednesday, so.
Doesn't need 4 names.
All right. Reserve officers with no enlisted service are awarded the Reserve Medal. Just thought the regulations are weird. That is weird. Late cookie, middle of the week are good too. Nothing like SFMF motivation driving home after a day at the circus. All right. That's why. And we like Wednesdays too. We do. Again, my work schedule fluctuates a little bit, so sometimes we can't always get Wednesdays. See, I already know I want to go next Wednesday because of that. It is.
I'll give them a heads up on what's going on Wednesday. We'll be driving out of town and we might be pushing out.
Yeah, so, and that's what made us think of it. This Wednesday, we are going to be driving. We're going to a luncheon. All right. My daughter did receive a, what was that? Scholarship? MOAA scholarship. She received that scholarship, so they're doing a luncheon for it. And it's not close to us, but she appreciates it and realizes the sacrifices of it and everything she put into getting it. So we're going to drive up there. The MOAA, Military Officers Association Award. I think so. I might have made half that up. But that is on a Wednesday. So we're going to be driving. We're going to try and drive back in time to do Wednesday evening lives. We'll definitely let you know on a post. There's no Ann in Carrie Potts, Sergeant Major. Thanks, Jared. Carrie Marie Potts. Who is she? Is she new? Where's Carrie Ann Marie? I don't mean money to you. She watches on catch up. Jared, we've been trying to tell him. Um, Wednesdays are my motivation caffeine. Caffeine. Man, I see that, Jared. Another young Cece killing it. Yes. Haha. You're all funny. Well, good. All right. So Wednesday, we'll let you know. We plan on being here Wednesday. Depends on our drive back. If we can make it in time. I drive like an old man, right? Facts. I drive slow. No? Yeah, I drive like an old man. So we might not make it, but we'll definitely let you know. We'll look for the post.
We might not start on time.
We might not start on time. How about that? I'm off that night, so we'll definitely be able to do it. It just might be a little late, but we plan on being here Wednesday, enjoying some more motivation with the rest of you. And yes, Carl, I'm starting to get old. I still got plenty. As soon as I get up there in your age, we we'll see. Uh, let's auto rotate this landing. Yes. Again, simplify everyone. Another great show. Some cool topics that we talked about. We'll be putting a little more out on that as well. And keep up with the post that she puts out to let you know when and where we'll be there. We try to update you as much as possible, but we definitely want to spend some more motivation time with you. Be safe out there, but you know the deal. Be aggressive and get 1% better every day. Simplify, my friends. Era.